I have a really interesting book that I want to share with you now, and it's interesting for several reasons. One of the reasons is because there are no words in the book at all. It's just pictures. The whole thing is just pictures, and you have to use your mind to figure out what's going on, which you can easily do. The next thing that is really interesting is the author and the illustrator is just one word. Now the author, there's no words, and so it doesn't really have an author, it just has an illustrator. But two people work together and they use a pen name. And a pen name is when you have a name, but for professional reasons, like when you write a book, instead of using your regular name, you use a pen name. You make up a different name. And you can do that if you want to. You could try. Think of a name you would like to be your pen name, and then write a book and use your pen name. But the really interesting thing is that not only do they use a pen name, but it's two people. Usually it's just one person, right? So let me show you the front of the book. This is what it looks like. And you can see here in the corner the person, the pen name for these two. And I think that it is pronounced Kerascoët. It's French. They live in Paris, France, and I don't speak French, and so it's hard for me to read in French. I don't have a good accent, but I can tell you that Marie Pommepuy is one of the people, and the other person is Sébastien Cosset. Those two people together are Kerascoët. So now I'm going to share with you this book that has no words. We're going to have to figure out what's going on just by interpreting the pictures. Okay, let's do it. So the book is called I Forgive Alex, a simple story about understanding. So here we go. I forgive Alex. So everybody's at school and they're just having a good time, right? And here comes one guy, he's just arriving and he's waving to all his friends. And here's another kid and he's got his basketball. We know that he's really into basketball because he's even wearing a little basketball uniform kind of thing. He looks so happy, doesn't he? They all look pretty happy. Look at these two. They're playing in the puddle. She can see her reflection in the water. And this little boy is splashing around in there. Do you ever splash in puddles? It's fun. So now what do we see? We see this guy who was the late arrival who just joined, and he's pulling something out, isn't he? Ooh, and he's showing his friends what he has in there. That looks like a folder, and then it has maybe some artwork. Maybe it's something that he's created. Maybe it's something he's worked hard on. He looks proud of it, doesn't he? And his friends are like, oh, wow, this is neat. And then over here, we see there they are, and then we see there's that kid with a basketball. He's pretty good. Look at how he's dribbling. Looks like the ball's going fast, up and down and up and down. And the other kids are trying to get it. He's not letting him get it. He's playing the game. Look, he's keeping the ball away. Doesn't let him get it. Oh my goodness, look how funny he's standing there with his foot on the ball so the other one can't get it. He's trying to kick it out and he has his foot firmly on top. And then he grabs it away. So this little guy is having a great time outplaying the others, isn't he? Outplaying means playing better than. So he's really in control. Here he's throwing the ball and it goes right past them. They don't catch it and he's just as happy as can be. Oh no, what happened? Oh my goodness, the ball crashed into the other guy's artwork and oh, all of it landed in that puddle. Look at their expressions. Oh my goodness. And the little one who did all of the work, he looks devastated, doesn't he? He looks so sad. Everybody's coming around and they're being very sympathetic. And here's the basketball guy who threw the ball that created the disaster. Look at the faces of these kids. They're really feeling bad for him. They look angry. Like, how could you let that happen? Do you think that's what they're thinking? Are they thinking, how could you let that happen? Now we see that his cheeks are red. And when someone's cheeks are red, that often means that they're embarrassed or they are ashamed. Do you think he feels bad? All of these kids look either sad or angry, don't they? And then we go over here, and there's the little boy whose stuff is all ruined. Oh my goodness, he looks so devastated. When you work really hard on something and it gets wrecked, really makes you sad. Looks like the bell's ringing, or the whistle, or the teacher saying, come on inside, everybody come in. And they're all heading in. And there's the one who lost all of his work. He has his folder under his arm and they're heading inside. And still the guy with the basketball. He has a big frown on his face. He looks sad. I think he's embarrassed, right? He feels bad. Nobody's hanging out with him, but this guy's got a bunch of friends around him. Now they're in class, and this guy's still sad. He looks like he's wiping a tear away. And there's the basketball kid. Oh my goodness. All of the classmates that are sitting around him look angry at him, don't they? Oh, everyone's mad at him. Then it's time for lunch. And the guy who lost his artwork, he's going to go sit with some friends, but it looks like the basketball guy, he's sitting by himself. He doesn't have friends to eat with. It looks like those guys are not paying any attention to him. And his cheeks are red. Can you see? Now it looks like it's time to go home, and everybody's heading out, and there's the guy who lost his work, and he's got his friends around him, and he's just chatting away. Things look fine. Doesn't everybody look like they're fine? They're happy, they're smiling, they're chatting. Oh, except for that guy, the basketball guy. He's walking by himself, and he looks very sad. He feels really bad. He wrecked the artwork, doesn't he? Later, they're at the playground, and everybody's playing, doing their own thing. And here this guy is like, hey, anybody want to play basketball with me? Finally, the guy whose artwork got wrecked goes up and talks to him. It looks like he's explaining what happened, don't you think? And here he's looking down like he's really sorry. And here it looks like they're shaking hands as if to say, okay, all right, it's all right. And then they start playing. And once the two of them start playing, look, all the other kids come around too. It's like, well, if he's going to forgive that guy, then we shouldn't be mad either. We can all get over it. It was an accident after all. He didn't mean to wreck his artwork. He was just careless. There they are, playing away. Now it looks like it's at the end of the day and everybody's going home, going their own way. And And the guy who lost his artwork is saying goodbye. And the basketball guy is saying goodbye. They're friends, aren't they? They're not mad at each other anymore, or hurt or upset. Then the next day, it looks like this is the next day at school. Here he comes. He doesn't have a basketball, but he does have a bag. He pulled out some artwork. So it looks like the basketball kid made some artwork for the guy who lost his artwork. That's his way of saying he's sorry. Yep. What did you think of the book? Was it interesting how there were no words and we just had to figure out what was happening? Do you think what I said was right, or would you have interpreted it a different way? That's fine if you do, because that's what the illustrators wanted when they made the book. Kerascoët. That's what they call themselves. So now the question is, do you want to write a book and have a pen name? Or do you want to write a book and use your own real name? And do you want to do it with someone else or by yourself? And if you do, would you use one name or two names? Most people have two names, a first name and a last name, but for their pen name, they just use one name. And I guess most importantly, if you hurt someone, whether you mean to or not, are you sorry? And do you try to make it up to them? Try to make it right? It's one thing just to say, oh, sorry, but it's another thing altogether to try to think of a way to make it right. If you're the one that made the disaster, you should help clean it up, help make it right. So let me know what you think of that book. Let me know if you have a different way to interpret what happened in that story.